All right. So the Lord gave me the word EMP approximately 4 years ago. I put this video out. Um, an EMP is an electromagnetic pulse. I've even had college professors recently tell me, because I told them I would not stop school unless I couldn't pay for the classes anymore or the power went out because that's an online school. And I've had the teachers say, well, I go due to an EMP, and they're like, what's an EMP? So even some professors don't even know what an EMP is, but it's an electromagnetic pulse that gets sent out from detonating a nuclear device in the atmosphere. So uh, to kill people, you don't necessarily have to detonate a nuclear bomb in the population and physically harm them. You can detonate nuclear devices in the atmosphere above the civilization that you want to knock the power and electronics out of, and it sends an electromagnetic pulse wave of energy down towards the surface, and um, it will cause electronics and circuits to be blown and not work anymore. So even those that are in, cars. So just think of fuel pumps that are electronic, um, vehicles, all lights and power, refrigerators, water pumps that pump water through your house or from water facilities to your houses, um, all those electronic stations and um, everything that uses power not being able to be used. Think for a moment because um, it's widely known that your grocery stores in your area have enough food to supply the population in your area where you live for 3 days. And so they constantly have shipments coming in, usually twice a week, to keep the store shelves stocked. We're talking Walmart, Vons, grocery stores, and retail stores. Um, so grocery stores, the food comes in from various areas throughout the country or from the world, okay, from shipments. So if you don't have cars or vehicles um, readily available to transport that food to your area, you will not have stocked shelves after 3 days. And if there's an emergency, you will only have 3 hours worth of supplies because everybody will be in there buying up what they can. All right. And um, a good book to read about the possible scenario of the power going out. And you've heard probably that if the power were to go out, it would take almost a year, if not a year, to reestablish electricity back to the general populated areas. Um, but in that year's time, 90% would die. And it's not just because of the lack of food or water, which is, we need water, can't go 3 days without water, can't go, more than 30, 40 days without food. But it's also, you know, medical intervention. It's the hospitals, um, you know, surgery needs and uh, injury needs that need immediate medical attention that maybe they won't be able to operate because power's off, or only that they have to limit it to who they choose to give medical treatment to because they have limited resources. But also medications won't be getting shipped in. So those with long-term health illnesses will, not be able to get their medications. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just going without power for a few hours. We're talking days, months, and weeks, months, and a year. So a good book to read is about the possible scenario is 1 Second After by William Forstchen. Um, the prologue is written by Newt Gingrich, okay, and William himself is a history teacher professor, and so it's a fictional story based on real possible scenarios. So you can get it here for $1.99 used, but it's worth the read. It gives you, it's based on this one little town, um, and the characters and what happens to them in the course of a year, and it helps you to have insight into this, because the Lord did tell me the power was going to go out. Now He gave me this word, and He said EMP, but I was like, it was when I was sleeping, and I said, yeah, like electromagnetic pulse, and He's like, no, earthquake, meteor, and power going out. So this was the order of when He told me that there would be the large California earthquake that happens, and then a meteor doesn't mean it has to be an extinction level event, but a meteor near the United States that would happen, and then the power would go out. And so, and then He gave me a confirmation to this, like after a year later when I was praying about it. This is a video from 3 years ago. Confirmation to the EMP word given, and me going back over the California earthquake warning and meteors that are coming, along with a new dream. So I'll put these in this video text box so that you can watch them if you choose to. But so essentially, the power is going to go out, and if we look at news, I put EMP attack news. Here's the Providence Journal from a month ago, the threat of an EMP attack. Okay, they realize the United States faces many threats from terrorism, and there is a less discussed threat that could be potentially dangerous, and that's the EMP, the power going out. Here's from the Western Journal, 20 hours ago, report China, Russia, North Korea prepared to launch EMP attacks. Okay, and American military news from yesterday, Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea working on EMP weapons. So I'll leave a link, I'll leave this browser link above that has all these listed so that you can go ahead and see the reality. These are all from like September, October, recent. Guest view, the threat of EMP attacks should be taken seriously. China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran set for electronic pulse attacks. And they could do this what's the word? Working together. All right. So then I typed in threats of EMP attack and then clicked on news. And again, I got the threat of an EMP attack. Ignoring EMP threat is a death sentence for Americans. Worth preparing for the threat of an EMP attack. Again, some of these same links. Okay, and then I clicked on one of them. This is from freebeacon.com. U.S. urged to rapidly prepare for electromagnetic pulse attack. World War II style Manhattan Project needed for electric infrastructure protection. This was from a month ago. And it says the U.S. is vulnerable to a devastating electromagnetic pulse event caused by high altitude nuclear blast or solar superstorm, according to a recently published book. Okay, and this is called the EMP Manhattan Project. It's written by Peter Pry, a former CIA analyst and author of the book. He's urging a government to rapidly harden the U.S. electric power system against EMP, similar to the 3-year crash program to build the first atomic bomb in 1942. And here's a link to, this is report of the Commission to assess the threat to the United States from an EMP attack, critical national infrastructures. Okay, and this is written by Dr. John Foster, a few different doctors, Commission members, and this was written in April 2008. And so they're going over the electric power, the infrastructure. We've already failed back in 2013. November 2013, we failed a power grid test. Okay, all our infrastructures are outdated and old. And so here's even a book that the Commission wrote about it. I'll leave a link to that. And I got it from here. It says this person said the chance is minuscule, but the damage probability is extremely high. Have a look at the report of the Commission created specifically to answer this question. Okay, and so what are the chances of an EMP attack? Oh, in the long run, this person said virtually 100%. Okay, because they don't have to detonate weapons on our land. It could just be from different areas up into the atmosphere. Homeland Security prepares against EMP threats. This was from October 9th. Okay. The Department of Homeland Security feds must assess possible continuity of government disruption. And let's see. Letter Mary Ellen Kirkulos preventing an EMP attack begins with the Western Journal. I think I clicked on that one. This one. EMP threat is. So in 2008, it talks about this, the assessment that they wrote. It says following an EMP attack, 326 million Americans could not long survive bereft of the electronic civilization that sustains their lives. EMP would be a civilization killer. So they don't have to kill us instantly. They can kill us slowly by knocking out our power. And so we would be destroyed within, because there would be like civil war, people fighting each other for food, and it would just be chaos, mass chaos and destruction, and illnesses and deaths from illnesses and sicknesses, so, and starvation. So not to be the bearer of bad news, but just so you can be warned that this is a possible reality, and that, pray and ask the Lord, first of all, ask Him what, if you need to be prepared for this. A little goes a long way. People have told me they can't prepare or stock up any food or anything because they don't have the money. Well, with God, all things are possible. I've seen God do miraculous things in my life. He got me to my new town where I live when I had $1,000 to put as a down payment on my new house that costs almost double what my old house cost. So, I mean, He worked it all out so that, I thought I would be in Palmdale, California, right next to the San Andreas when the big earthquake happened. And I was okay with that because I just prayed for protection, and if that's where God wanted me to be, that's where He wanted me to be. But a year ago, He moved me up here further north and on the other side of the Sierra Nevadas. So I still have, volcano ranges around me and so forth, but this is where He wanted me to be for whatever reason, and I'm okay with that. And if we're faithful with the little things, He'll be faithful with the big things, right? And so we just have to believe that we are where we're supposed to be, or He will guide us where we need to be, and that He will supply our needs if we're faithful to do our part. So I truly believe in, He's showed me to prepare with food and water because I believe that He's called me to help others, not just my family. And so that's a big other job altogether, because you'll have to have major discernment because many will take advantage or they will just be there to take what you have. But God knows. And I'm just saying that people can't say that they don't have money to prepare, because you go grocery shopping, and when you go grocery shopping, just spend $2 or $3 extra on one bag of rice, like a 1 or 2 pounder, or two or three cans of veggies or beans, or 1 or 2 bottles of water that are 99 cents or 88 cents a bottle, for a gallon. Just a little goes a long way. After a while, you'll have a small stockpile. You'll have some food and water for a week, and then for a couple weeks, and then you'll have some enough for a month. So buy those bargains at Albertsons or whatever when it's like 5 for 5, like 5 for $5, or if you buy five, they're a really discounted price. Um, it's it's worth it in the end, because not only would we need to prepare for the earthquakes and volcanic activity, and or war that is coming to our nation, but for any natural disaster and eventually the power going out, it's a wise thing. God bless.